Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow Kenyans. Today, I'm delighted to have you right here on my political channel, right on our YouTube channel, of course, Kenya Trends channel. And today, I am here to discuss 5 dreadful mistakes done by our Honorable Deputy President. Of course, I'm talking about David Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua. Here today, I have prepared for you some 5 grievous mistakes which I think the government or the people in power are not going to let go, or these are the 5 mistakes that Gachagua will regret for the rest of his life. We all know that the position that Rigathi Gachagua is holding right now is one of the positions that you don't just assent to it. It takes a fortune for you to have that position. However, our honorable, the truthful man Rigathi Gachagua has done some grievous mistakes, which I won't take much of your time, but I'll just try to highlight them for you so that you know why, or which makes it inevitable for him to be impeached. And of course, I'll just dive to first of my foremost mistake I think he committed, that the president, as much as he went silent on it, but he must punish him by the impeachment method, you know. And of course, the first mistake I think Mr. Rigathi Gachagua committed is when he evidently proposed the one man, one vote, one shilling revenue allocation formula, which is against the current formula, current revenue allocation formula. Of course, the one that considers, as much as it considers population, it also considers poverty levels. It also considered the vulnerability, the land area, you know. It is a wide formula that ensures equity, you know. But Rigathi Gachagua went ahead proposing and just stamping and pushing the government to consider the one man, one vote revenue formula, which we all know that if it passes, then the people who are going to benefit from it, of course, are the people of Mount Kenya. We all know for a minute that with Kenyan census, the recent done Kenyan census, Kikuyus or people from the mountain are the majority. And if we just go with one man, one vote, one shilling revenue allocation, then they are going to be the biggest beneficiary, because of course they have the numbers. Then that will mean that they will also have the higher amount when it comes to revenue allocation. This did not go well with the president or those people in the government, because they think that we have some marginalized communities which also must have revenue that will help them develop, will help them live in a model or in a medium that is equivalent to those living in a potential grounds or living in potential area, that will ensure them having an equitable or an equilibrium way of living as those of us who live in at least place fit is India. And if you don't believe me, here is a tip of it.
Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is a believer and a proponent of one man, one vote, one shilling.
The second grievous mistake that I think Rigathi Gachagua made is when he came out and cried, or he acted as a cried baby when the military chopper was taken from him. We all know that just this year, early this year, we lost a CDF General Ogola out of a chopper crash, and the reason the results that came out after his death is that the chopper had a poor maintenance, you know. And so the government or Ministry of Defense came out and put some restrictions on the usage of military choppers, because as they alluded is that these military choppers are the ones that government officials usually use, including the Deputy President, Prime CS Cabinet. And of course, after the accident, by then Aden Duale put restrictions on these choppers, and it was declared that none or no government official will be using them, including the interior CS, unless he is going on a military services in a particular region. That is the moment that this chopper will be released. So the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua did not took this well, and he felt as if he's being undermined. And he went out on public. I remember this one event, it was happening in Nakuru. The Akorino, it was a ceremony of Akorino on a Sunday, where he arrived late. An hour later after the president had arrived, and when he was asked, he said that I delayed, I had a problem or issues of transport, and that's why I have arrived this late. Here is a tip of it.
Nilichelewa, I had matatizo with my transport arrangements, alafu ikaingia mambo ya hewa, nikachelewa kutoka, nikakwama pale kati ya Longonot na Naivasha karibu 2 hours. Ndio nifike hapa. Mimi unajua mimi si mtu ya kukosa nidhamu. Mimi nilikuwa officer wa uniform, and in your government I'm the most disciplined person.
This act showed him playing, or it is evident he wanted to play the victim card to the public, and he wanted to expose the president or the government by just coming out to the public and telling the public that, you know what, the deputy president has no definite means of transportation, which maybe he felt like it is some sort of undermining the office. But it is what we do, or I think some of you guys out there, or some of the leaders have been out there saying that we should live within our means. However, that's not the case, because Parliamentary Budget Committee came out and said that the Deputy President, as much as, yes, there is no definite chopper that is allowed to carry him or to transport him within the country, but they usually create funds for him to hire other services. You know, he's allowed to hire a private chopper. And you know, again, the Deputy President went ahead, which again, I think it was a bit unfortunate. I remember there is this one point, he was traveling to Coast, and he decided to use a KQ. And in this scene, you know, it was not taken well by parliamentarians, because he was seen carrying a bag, a briefcase. He was pulling it by himself. He went to the, he aboarded the KQ, of course, which is our national carrier. There is nothing bad with that. But the aim of him doing that, you know, it was during this period that it was said he has been restricted from using the military chopper. So he wanted to undermine the president, or he wanted to show that he is being bullied or somehow oppressed. He does not have definite means of transportation. And, you know, this did not went, or it was not okay by the parliamentarians. And I remember Jeanette roasted him live. Some parliamentarians roasted him live. And here's just a tip. You just listen to it by yourself.
Yesterday, to my dismay, the Deputy President took a commercial flight to Mombasa and was hauling his own bag, getting into the aircraft, Honorable Speaker.
What struck me, Mr. Speaker, in that episode, as somebody who has traveled a lot, is the kind of bag the Deputy President was carrying. That one really struck me. That the kind of bag is not for the Deputy President. That bag is for something else. Another thing that struck me in that episode is what was the content of that bag, because the Deputy President could not even give it to his bodyguard. He had to hold it himself in person, Mr. Speaker. What could have contained in that bag, Mr. Speaker? I don't know whether a committee of this parliament can get to know for us. What is the content of that bag that you cannot even trust with Ngunjiri Wambugu was behind him, that he held for me this bag, Mr. Speaker?
The third mistake H.E. Rigathi Gachagua committed, which according to me, I think it was the game changer and there was no going back. I don't think William Ruto, the president, would, there was a point that the HE president was going to go in terms, or he was going to take this, is when in June we had, it was not generic, it was an organic maandamano or protests by the Gen Z. And this Gen Z, it was self-driven, you know. But again, it reached a point where the government or the CIDs, the DCI, or the National Intelligence Security felt as if these maandamanos were being influenced by some other political leaders for their own gains. And this is the moment that our parliament was invaded by some maandamano or protesters. There is a cocoon of protesters who invaded the parliament, and these some of the political analysts saw it as a civilian coup, and the president, together with the National Intelligence Security, thought that, they believed that it was an influence of some individuals who paid these people. And I remember even the parliament, the president calling them criminals. Some of them took it lightly on a light note, and I remember it even people created memes about it. But guess what, guys? One of the persons who was accused of influencing this maandamano, it was Rigathi Gachagua. And I remember there's this point when the president addressed the government, or he was addressing the state, and he conceded. He himself said he had conceded. And a few minutes later, Rigathi Gachagua had a press, and he also went ahead addressing the state, and he was accusing Haji, saying that Haji had failed the president. But there is this point that took me, he went ahead saying that Haji was accusing him of paying these goons to attack the parliamentarians. And this is the period when I think I thought Rigathi Gachagua has overstepped, because we all know it was a national intelligence matter, and we all know that you cannot, however what happens, especially if you hold a higher office, you cannot come to the public and expose whatever happens in the intelligence, of course, or the intelligence issues. We all know that there's only one person who accumulates or consumes the intelligence information, and that is the president. But Rigathi Gachagua came out and exposed it to the president that Nurdin Haji, he's communicating this to the president, and they are accusing me. According to some of the analysts said or thought that it is the truth. But again, kuna msemo wanasemanga eti umbwa mwitu wangejishuku. At that point, no one had accused Gachagua of paying or funding these protesters, but he himself came out and said Nurdin Haji anaambia president ni mimi nina fund maandamano. And guys, that was the game changer of this, And yes, here is the tip.
We invest significant resources in these institutions, particularly the National Intelligence Service, for this purpose. It is clear there has been a failure in the intelligence and advice we are receiving, particularly concerning crucial government policies. The President of the Republic of Kenya today has admitted that it has come to his attention that the people of Kenya did not want anything to do with the Finance Bill 2024.
The fourth point, or the fourth, mistake, grievous mistake, I think Rigathi Gachagua committed, which again, it has been his basis, or it has been one of the things that he keeps doing, or one of the mistakes that he keeps repeating, is him playing regional politics. Rigathi Gachagua has been playing regional politics since he was elected. And of course, the president has come out clean about this. And in fact, he has said this not in a good mood or in an advising mood, but in a commanding mood. Just listen to him yourself.
Mtu kama anataka siasa, aende atafute siasa, atafute sera. Tafuta sera ya kuuza kwa wananchi. Wacha ukabila. Hakuna mtu atabadilika hapa. Kenya sisi ni Wakenya. Na Nairobi ni mji ya Wakenya wote. This is a cosmopolitan city. And we want to live together harmoniously. Nimeona machifu wanaongea hapa ni wa kutoka jamii zote. So tuungane namna hiyo. Tupangane namna hiyo. Na mimi nawaomba, tafadhali. Naomba tena. Tusiweke siasa ya ukabila katika kazi hii. Tumekubaliana jameni? Watoto ni watoto wetu. Nyinyi ndio mnajua wale wanaishi katika vijiji zenu. Make sure that all the kids, all the children from your villages wanajumuishwa katika hii mpango ndio tuweze tuende mbele pamoja.
So Rigathi Gachagua has been constantly playing regional politics. He has been constantly calling out or he has been constantly talking about Mlima Kenya. Remember, he has been out there saying the issue of shares. We own the majority shares in this government, and so a lot of developments, or a bigger part of developments, should come to this region, which, you know, it's against his office. We all know that the office of the presidency is a unifying factor. The deputy president has failed to unify Kenyans, but instead he has gone ahead to try and unite the people of Mount Kenya. He himself, he has come out saying that Mount Kenyans should be united every now and then. And I remember just the other day, Kimani Ichung'wah was saying that the deputy president, since he was elected, he has never come out on a national television and articulate government issues or government agendas, but instead he has been going on vernacular stations where he has been talking about Mlima Kenya. And I remember there is this one point in a rally where he said that guza ama fanya kitu chochote lakini usijaribu kuguza mlima. This is against the presidency office. Of course, he is the deputy president. That office should be used to unite Kenyans. That office, people, watu wenye wana visit hiyo office wanafaa kuiona kama a leader who is there is a leader mwenye ni wetu sisi wote, and not a leader for Kikuyus. That he has failed. Remember, in this the same point, he has gone ahead to criticize the president. In a lot of rallies, he has gone against what the government has been proposing. He's been saying that, I remember there is this one point he was in Trans Nzoia, and there is allegedly there is this MCA who asked him to help them develop a road, and he came out telling that MCA that, hey, mimi sitaki kukudanganya, nitatengeneza barabara, sitatengeneza mpaka niende huko juu na nini, nijue kwanza, niongee na president, akinipatia pesa ndio nitakuja nikwambie. Mimi sitaki kutangaza hapa ama kukuambia nitatengeneza hiyo barabara ili munipigie makofi. Guess who does that? We all know that President Ruto has been doing that. He's been going places, promising people goodies. People clap for him. And so this is one mistake that I think Gachagua has been doing. And the president must have not taken this lightly.
MCA umeniomba mambo ya barabara, atiwekwe rami hapa. Mimi mambo ya uongo unajua mimi sitaki. Sasa nikija hapa nikwambie nitajenga hiyo barabara, ni uongo. Lazima niende kwanza niangalie kama pesa itapatikana, tutume maengineer ndio nikujibu. Ama mnataka nimdanganye? Mimi hiyo maneno sitaki. I'm a truthful man. Unajua mimi naweza sema iweko ndio mnipigie makofi. Alafu nikija next time si mtanipigia nduru. Unakuja kulecture watu ya Mount Kenya ukiwa nani? Msidharau sisi kwa sababu tulipeana kura kwa kupenda. Msituchukue ufala. Msifikiria sisi ni watu ya kukanyangwa na mtu yeyote anataka kutukanyanga. Mimi nataka kuambia wewe, enda kwenu. Go and mobilize 80% that did not vote for President William Ruto to vote for him in 2027.
My last point, or my one last mistake I think Rigathi Gachagua must have committed, is when he has tried to act as an equal to the president. We all know the deputy president should deputize him, but should not come out as an equal. But Rigathi Gachagua has been doing things suggesting that he is an equal to the president. There is this one instance, not even once, but Rigathi Gachagua, after the president has come out with the issue of broad-based government, we've seen him rallying in different places, asking those people, or asking the people of Mount Kenya. In fact, this has been happening in Mount Kenya. He's been moving all around asking them that, do you think maybe nitafute marafiki? Si rais ametafuta Raila, mimi pia nafikiria nitafute Kalonzo, Natembe na nini, pia sisi tukuwa na marafiki. There's no point of me kukaa hapa hivi na watu wanatengeneza marafiki. That simply shows how much he wants to succeed the president. Of course, for those of you who have read the 48 laws of power, there's this one point, I think it is the second law or the third point, if I'm the third law if I'm not wrong, where it says about concealing your intentions. The deputy president has not concealed his intentions. He's been coming out showing that indeed he wants to succeed the president, and that's the reason why he's been rallying the people of Mount Kenya to unify against him, so that he can use them to bargain to the president. you have a tip or just listen to yourself. The deputy president asking Kalonzo to unite with him.
Sisi tumesema tutafute marafiki in the spirit of the broad-based approach of doing things. President amesema tuungane, kila mtu apende mwingine. Sisi tumesema never again kama region tutachukia mtu yeyote, because what politics have taught us is that the friend of today can be the enemy of tomorrow, and the enemy of today can be the friend of. So mimi kama kiongozi nimeambiwa na wazee na watu ya kanisa, tafuta marafiki kila pahali, uunganishi. Say all politics is local. Na vile unasema bwana natembea, mimi niko hapo. You cannot unite the country when communities are divided, when regions are divided. You first put your region together, then you reach out to other regions, then we have one cohesive country.
So guys, what do you think? Of course, these are just some of the things I think Rigathi Gachagua must have done that has landed him here, because just yesterday he was having an interview where he was begging for mercy. Of course, we saw him coming out clean. He said that he has he's not afraid of being impeached. But again, he contradicted himself later when he started begging the president and telling the president to stand by his promises. He said that the president promised him that he will not be violated or his office will be respected. But right now he is being undermined or disrespected. Of course, those are my thoughts. Of course, I stand to be corrected. I am not saying that I'm right by whatever I've said, but those are just my opinions. What do you think? If you have a contrary opinion, feel free to comment right below on our page, and we will be there to answer. You will be there to even ask you to come and do an analysis for us, because of course this platform is for us all. I'm your host, Presenter Dante. Until next time, goodbye.